Testing. Welcome to episode 230 of Beauty Magazine. The Sims 4 story of a once thriving, now struggling fashion magazine. Our story takes place in the year 2008. At that time, the magazine is 10 years old. Beatrice Ullbright started her magazine in 1998, and she was trying to do something different with the theme of a beauty magazine. Not a one-size-fits-all, only rich people, only the most beautiful faces, not just models, etc. More on the idea of being yourself, and if you can be happy, and give yourself a reason to smile, and that's beautiful. That type of thing. And beautiful things, and, scenery, and not just models and celebrities and the most expensive fashions and all that. Not just this expensive designers But what happened was she had her magazine, and she had a publisher that was a smaller publisher that liked her idea and published her magazine. And she was starting to have some success. Over the first 6 years, she grew her magazine fairly well. But there was a different publisher out there that has one of the top of the line, a magazine called Gloria's Guide, which is kind of like a Vogue magazine, and it's like, if somebody thinks the word fashion magazine, they will automatically think of a magazine like that. It is Gloria's Guide, the Statements of Fashion, and it's run by a lady who has the snobby attitude of a fashion bitch. Well, the publisher of that magazine is Simon Barnes of Regency Publishing. Now, he's not exactly in charge of Gloria's Guide magazine. She does what she does, and he kind of just lets her get away with it because she's getting all kinds of sales. But his company is one that he wants to own everything, and he's a vulture. He basically buys out the other competitors, downsizes them, merges them, trying to get rid of them so that he's getting the most amount of money with the least amount of resources. And that's what he did back in 2004. He bought out Chambers Publishing, which published Beauty Magazine. And he bought out Cloud9 Publishing, which had a magazine called Blush and Bloom, which was more like a Glamour or a Marie Claire or something like that. Hello, Daniel. And he, without realizing or caring that the magazines were not the same or meant to be the same, he just saw beauty magazines and told them to merge their magazines. And because at the time Beatrice's magazine had more sales than Blush and Bloom, he kept the beauty magazine name, put Beatrice in charge of the new merged magazine, and basically told the other two top employees from Blush and Bloom that they had to work under Beatrice Ullbright. Well, that would have been all well and good if both magazines were similar, but, they weren't supposed to be, and it left Beatrice struggling to make the magazine she had, and not wanting to make the magazine she's being forced to make, and fighting and arguing with two people she's now supposed to be bossing around, and they don't want to listen to her. And, well, 4 years later, she's finally had enough and fired those two. They've now gone off and started their own magazines, 2 different ones. So in our story, we have Sims 4 gameplay. We sometimes do some building. Sometimes we'll start something. Sometimes we'll work on something. Sometimes I'll, come up with a story idea for why I'm not finishing something, or who knows. But then we also use this website here, fliphtml5, to use images from the game to pretend to make magazine issues. For example, this is the one we worked on the first time around back in January and February. We were working on the, quote, April issue. Making advertisements and fashion spreads and whatnot. And we are currently working on a wedding-themed issue for June. So yeah, that's what we're currently working on for that issue. And then, like I said, we play The Sims 4. We also occasionally will play American Truck Simulator to tell story parts of whatever a certain character is doing. We've got 2 different characters that are truck drivers. Now, earlier on in the series, we had Colt Cooper driving around in Missouri and Arkansas and now Iowa. And he's working for the 4-2 Print Company, which is starting to print a newspaper. I worked the morning shift today, so I got home around 3:30. Well, it was 3:35 when I sat down at first and checked my phone. And then, of course, I ate my food and tried to stay awake for the next few hours like I usually do when I work the morning shift. I'm currently soaking my feet because I have the time. Sounds good. Everybody be sure to check that out if you like football and truck driving games. For those of you who may not know, the American Truck Simulator and European Truck Simulator 2 are coming to consoles soon, if you've ever been interested in playing a game but you don't have a PC. There's also a rival game coming out soon. I forget what was it, Road something or other. I don't know if it's going to be the same type of game. It's a trucking game, but it looks like it might be more like mission based. They got like I don't know if it's just a cut scene or what, but they've got like driving through a tornado and stuff. And I mean that might be good for storytelling, but as far as which one's going to be the better truck game, it's subjective, because while ATS doesn't have everything I wish it would have, what it does have is much like The Sims here. It has freedom. You decide what and why you're doing something. You don't have to, I mean, sure, you have to kind of make money to buy your employees and garages and all that, but you kind of decide how you're going to go about doing that. You can try to earn your way to buy a garage and then hire one employee for each garage, or right away and get everybody a truck. And it's like there's ways to go about it, and you decide. Whereas any game that's going to tell me how to do the missions to get to the next thing, to unlock the next thing, it might be fun, but it might not be what I want. So, but, it's like people are already posting, like, could this game be trouble for SCS Software and their trucking game? Like, well, it's not any different than, is Enzoy going to be better than The Sims? Is Paralives going to be better than The Sims? What about Life by You? Well, Life by You had a chance, but, if, you had namby-pamby people complaining about the way the people looked in the game, and I guess, that wasn't going to be a hurdle that the developers wanted to, if the people are going to just keep nitpicking everything before you can even get the game out, well, no sense even bothering. I see, it's like, that's the difference between a game like that and what EA does. EA is like doing their own thing and kinda listening to a few people, but they release what they want to release on this thing. And the other ones are trying to make the game that the people want, and it's going to be very difficult because the pressure for those other games like Inzoi and Paralives is that their base game has to have more gameplay and features and all that than any Sims base game has ever had. It has to have weather right away. It has to have this, that, and the other. It better have pets. It better have, and it's like, you're forcing them to make a giant game right away, and more things that cause delays and all that. Whereas The Sims, they release their base game knowing that they're gonna just release their expansion packs when they feel like it. Let's see what we got here. We're in the 60s right now. I tell you what, like, because I've been going in I've been leaving the house around 6:30 in the morning. That's when I've been feeling the cold a little bit, because I've been leaving my outer coat in the car and just wearing my fleece, and it's like, oh yeah, I think I want to put that on. Of course, I work in the meat department, so when I get to work and all that, especially in the morning, I gotta leave at least one coat on because I'm unloading the truck in the cooler, the pallets. So it's like, going into work when I'm already cold and then not warming up for a while. It's like I always, it always gets me because I'll be out there working my lunch meat, and you got the people or the kids that walk by and they're like, it's cold hours a day. I'm cold too. I'm always wearing layers of clothing. Even, hey, it's the middle of the summer. I go into work, I'm wearing sweatpants and regular pants. I got like 2 or 3 t-shirts on. Then I put my long sleeve work shirt over that. Then I might have, I've got my apron that I have to wear. And then sometimes I put my coat on, my fleece coat. Like, and especially if I have to go to the freezer for any more. I live here at home. I live in the basement, so unless I'm upstairs letting the dog out, I'm still wearing all these clothes. I'm wearing 2 sweatshirts right now. Yeah. I always was one that liked it warm, but I don't like sweating. I don't want it to be that warm that I'm sweating. What am I trying to do? Okay, so we left off in the house with the judges here. Well, I'm trying to make them into judges for the wedding themed wedding, and one of them is officiants for the wedding. One of you's missing. Where's Roxanne at? She's over here. Okay, Roxanne, you're research and debate. No, go practice the debate over there. Who's that? Oh, you're way out there doing whatever. Well, there is no plan. It's a ever changing. It's like a